I summon Blue Eyes White Dragon.
So, out of the box, we have the S.H. Monsterarts Blue Eyes White Dragon figure, and is it worth the price? Well, bump that. Y'all seen the title of the figure. Video.
Dumbass!
It's definitely worth the price to me because this is my top 10 figures for the year. But let me explain more. Golly, she sure is pretty, Sheldon. So, right off the bat, I have to say this figure looks like it was ripped right out of Kazuki Takahashi's like art book style artwork, with a lot more detail and stuff put into it. And the reason why I'm listing that artwork in particular is because, you know, typically I would say, you know, the anime or the manga, but I think this really represents, like, I'll pass some artworks pop up on the screen, Kazuki Takahashi's artwork. And the anime, you know, they have, in the anime, they have Blue Eyes looking like Blue Eyes Blue Dragon instead of Blue Eyes White Dragon. And the finish to this figure is great. This looks like Blue Eyes White Dragon. Like, it's a white figure, but you can see the blue shading throughout the figure, and it looks phenomenal. The finish is more of a satin or glossy finish, and I think that works, especially for a creature like Blue Eyes White Dragon, which I can imagine having a luster to, well, it doesn't have scales, but it looks like it has some type of armored plating on its body when you look at it. But yeah, this thing is incredible. I can't give it enough praise in terms of aesthetic. As beautiful as this figure is, what can we do with it? How can we further enhance it? What does it come with? Well, out of the packaging, we get an action figure stand. Some assembly is required. You get 2 arms to hold up the wings for a flight pose, and then yet another arm that's gonna hold it by the crotch. And lastly, an arm to hold the next accessory, which is brought to you in part by the following.
What is it like chewing 5 gum? Photons and electrons dance around in your mouth and burst forth as a stream of destructive blueberry and mint flavors. 5 gum, white lightning. Get it while supplies last. Stimulate your senses.
All kidding aside, the burst stream destruction accessory is a very nice accessory. The ball itself is surrounded by this translucent, kind of transparent lightning, and the light streaks start off frosted from the parts that plug in, and then as you get towards the end, you get a nice translucent blue. Beautiful accessory. So for the first time in eons, I'm talking during the articulation segment, and that's because this is different than anything I've ever reviewed articulation wise, because this is ball joints to figure. Now, if you collect SH Monsterarts figures, this is really nothing new to you, but since this is my first time reviewing one on the channel, his neck full of ball joints. You can pose it in pretty much any pose you want or need to. The wings, at the wings is ball joints where it connects to the body. Now, one thing I will say about the wings is that one of the wings is a little kind of floppy. It's not super floppy, but after a certain point it's going to sag. So that's something to know. I don't know if everybody's Blue Eyes is going to have that same issue. As far as the wings spread, it's like on little hinge joints, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, even when spreading the wings, from what I can see and tell, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I can see like little tiny ball pegs that you would use to spread the wings. So this figure has all the paws if necessary. And the knees a ball joint, and the hips a ball joint, and the ankles, which is another little critique I have for this particular figure. The ankles work nicely, however, that joint is so small, I would just be careful, you know, maneuvering it too roughly, because it is a very small joint and looks like it could be very fragile. The tail, ball joints. And while we're on the tail, why didn't they do Metal Cooler's tail like how they do SH Monsterarts? I'll wait. That's neither here nor there. The elbows, ball joints. The wrists, ball joints. Like I said, ball joints to figure. That being said, let's move forward.
One more thing!
Also, the torso, ball joints. And for the jaw, a hinge joint. Pause. Now, if I keep Blue Eyes' neck straight, as tall as I could set it up, it is roughly 8 inches tall on the dot. Now, if I'm to measure it front to back, it's roughly, we're gonna say 10 inches. So truth be told, wingspan across, if I'm to measure it, it might be a good like 15 inches across, because the ruler doesn't fully cover it, and it looks like it's still about an inch or two or 3 inches on the other side to give.
We'll be right back with Bombastic's final thoughts. What?
So at the end of the day, would I recommend this figure at all? Absolutely, right? And for all of those that have liked my rating system or what have you, or ratings towards the end of the video, I'll just have them posted somewhere on the screen real quick. But I really want to talk about the figure a little bit more. Ultimately, the reason why this is my top 10 is because the sheer aesthetic looked like they grabbed it, like I said, right out the artwork. In terms of accessories, you're not gonna get a whole lot, because why would it come with a whole lot? The only thing I could ask for more is like the actual beam attack, you know? But other than that, that's pretty much it. He's not Blue Eyes is not gonna make a whole bunch of different facial expressions or need a bunch of different hands. That's just, it just is what it is. That being said, get it before the price point, you know, reaches crazy levels, because this looks like one of those first releases that could end up being very exorbitant in the future, just because it takes them so long to re-release it. Until next time, this has been Bombastic Plastic, and I end my turn. Go.